Alright, in the last episode we finished building the control panel, and now what we're going to do is see if we can get everything wired up so we can play a game. There's a couple other things we're going to need to do to make sure that everything is fitting nicely, but this is how we're looking. So we're going to pull the wiring from the back of this Robotron Mini here, that rat's nest down there. We're going to pull it to the front, print out the J-Rock wiring diagram so we can figure out which way everything goes. And then we're going to hopefully get ourselves a working control panel, which we can then mount inside the Robotron Mini here. And then we just need a coin door. And we gotta put the back door on. But then we're done, right? I think we're done. Almost done. Just about done. Alright, let's get to work. Alright, so I have my Jama printout here with all the pinouts, and the next thing I'm going to do is go in here and look at the board and just write down the colors of what each wire is for. So let's see if we can zoom in, and I notice I'm getting some feedback on my screen as far as what is this is some like light vibration. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm using an LED shop light that is not liking the frame rate of the camera, I don't believe. Alright, so we need to take a look over here, and we are going to start over here with player 1 start, which I believe is brown. So we're going to just write all these colors down. And we got player 1 up, which is the next one, which is red. And then so we go brown, red, orange, which is down. And then we gotta go left, which is yellow. Then player 1 right, so yellow, green. Then we're gonna need buttons 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the directional firing of Robotron. So let's see, the last color I did was green. Then we go blue is next, which is button 1. And then purple, gray, and white. Purple, gray, white. Alright. So I just made a quick note of everything as far as what the colors are. Now what we're going to do is work our way back through to the other side of the cabinet. And we're just going to test all our wiring. So I fed it through where the coin door is, and now we're just going to go ahead and make connections and hope for the best. Now, I always end up getting things backwards as soon as I flip over our control panel. So what I'm going to do is actually label everything on the back side. Now, my left side is my directional control, and my right side is my fire. I've got my left button is my player 1 start, and my right button is my player 2 start. So we're going to flip it over. That means everything's going to be on the other side. Okay, and I always go like this. I push up, and so that way I know which leaf switch it's hitting. So this is my up switch, so that means this is going to be up, down. This is down over here. Then we're gonna go, let's see, I'll flip it over for a second. Right. So we're going right. This is right down here. And that means the last one will be left. Player 1. So player 1's right there, so we're going to write player 1. This is player 2. And our fire buttons should be the same thing, right? So up, down. Let's see, I can always do flip over. Alright. Right, left. So fire, left, and then fire, right. We've got fire down and fire up. And now we don't need to think about it. But we do need to know where everything's going to get mapped to as far as our Jama to Williams, how that's going to go. So we're going to take a look at the Jama button mapping off of the JRock setup sheet. So we're going to come over here, we're going to look for Robotron. We've got our button settings here. Okay, so button 1, so this is going to be fire up, button 2 is fire down, 3 is fire left, and 4 is fire right. That's how we're going to do it. So up, down, left, right is the order. Let's write that down. Is it right? Yeah, okay. Up, down, left, right. So 1, 2, was it left, right, or right, left? Left, right. 3, and 4. So we got everything labeled. So now all we have to do is kind of go through and just plug everything in. So this is how I'm starting. I'm going to start with the ground wire. The ground wire is my black wire, and I'm starting with the one closest to the harness. And I'm just going to work my way around each joystick, and then head over to the buttons, and work my way around the last joystick. And then I'll cut off the extra. I want to try and stay consistent when I'm doing my ground switch, so I'm going to make the bottom leaf, hopefully, I'm already inconsistent. I'm going to make the bottom leaf the ground, and the top the colored wire. So let me actually fix this here. Okay, so I'm just going to go around to each one. I'll plug them all in. There we go. Maybe. Everything is harder on camera, I swear. It always takes forever. There we go. And then bottom. There we go. Let's not get tangled up here. Bend that leaf out of the way. Yep, we need to put another screw in this one. That's right. Let's see if we can end up at the top here. So we'll go like this. There we go. And then off to the next one. This isn't too bad. This Jama harness already had these daisy chained for us to make our lives easier. Good. And the last one here, up at the top. And I wish these were insulated connectors, but such is life. We could always redo it with solder. They don't need to be insulated. In fact, some of the older games I've got just have bare metal wire going in between everything. So there we go. That is all of them. And now all I need to do is just trim off the last remaining wires here. We'll kind of back up so we can see everything. There we go. Just daisy chained all the way around. And then what we'll do at the very end, once we know everything's in the right place, is we'll clean up the wiring and strap everything down to this board here. The next thing to do is to take all of these colored wires here and start matching them up to where they need to go. Remember, we made that list of all the colors that we're going to do, and we're going to start with brown, which is the player 1 start. Apparently I must have had a bad connector and cut that off, so I'm just going to stick it into that, I don't know, the hole there for player 1 for now. It'll probably fall out 10 times, but I'll come back and do it. We'll just like to start at the beginning. So let's put that in here. And we'll just kind of bend that over like that. for now. We'll come back and take care of that. Let's see, next up is red. And red, we said was, let's see, player 1 up. That is over here. Maybe. And then, like I said, we'll need to definitely go through and clean this all up. Alright. Then we've got orange, which is down. So, down is over here on the other side. Where's the insulator? Oh, here it is. These ones have insulators. I guess that's okay. One set has insulators. Okay, we got our orange, then it's yellow for left, yellow wire. For left, which is up at the top. There we go. Keep that insulator on. These insulators like to fall off. And then next up after yellow is green. There we go, and that is going to be the right one, so we'll put that over here on this tab. Down here on the bottom. Let's go, let's go. Maybe. In hindsight, this may not be the best way to do it, but here we go. Insulator. Alright, so that's that side. And then we've got, oh, you know what I never got was that player 2 start button. Alright, I'll figure that out later. Let's see. Now we need to go over to the fire side, so that was going to be the button 1, which is going to be blue. And blue, let's see, was button 1. Oh, here we go, we labeled them. Button 1. You see that? Smart. We labeled things because we knew we'd forget. Alright. There we go. Button 1. Maybe. There we go. Button 1. And then next up is button 2, which is purple. And that's going to be the fire down button. So we did up and down. It's over here on the side. And this is why we want to label things. You guys see that? Fire down 2. Somewhere in there. No? Yes? There we go. And then next up after purple is gray. There's gray, and gray is button 3. Here at the top. And last but not least, for the fire buttons is white. And that's button 4 down here at the bottom. There we go. So we have all our buttons wired with the exception of player 2. I need to find what color it is for player 2, and we'll move that over, and we should get another screw while we can for that side, because that balsa wood is not really stiff enough to keep it, but it's going to work for now. So alright, there we go. There's our rat's nest of wires, which we need to clean up. But we can actually test this now, which is the plan. Keep our fingers crossed and hope everything works. Alright, I'm going to go turn the game on. We've got the joysticks and buttons down here that we're going to try out. But let's go ahead and turn it on and see what we're working with here. Alright. So we've got our main menu here, and we're going to go through and see what we have. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can maybe see the joysticks and the screen at the same time. There we go. Alright. Okay, so the right one doesn't do anything, so we got up, down. That's good. So far, so good. Let's go to the setup real quick. Alright, player one. Okay, so we're booting to the menu. The machine type is upright. If we hold 1 and 2, we go to the main menu in 1 second. Let's see if can I change that? 2 seconds. Okay. Oh, that moved me down. What if that's supposed to do that? I don't know. Okay. Robotron 1-player fire. So we've either got buttons or the 2-player stick. So we're not using the 2-player stick, we're actually using the player 1 buttons. So we're going to leave that. Splat is going to be the same way. Bubbles joystick is, let's see, what are my options? 2-player stick, 1-player stick. Yeah, oh yeah, so this one for bubbles. We're not using the rotating stick. Start button input when pressed. What are the options there? On release. When pressed. Sure. Okay. Reset to defaults. Switch test. Ooh, switch test. Alright, I don't have any coin switches, so... Alright. There we go. See, that works. Player 2 is working. And my battery's gonna die again, so... Hold on a second. Sometimes when you turn this thing on and off again, we'll get some extra juice in the battery. Alright, let's check real quick. So up, down, left, right, and then up, down, left, right. Okay. That's it. Alright, 1 and 2 to exit. Okay, cool. Let's exit the setup. Let's see if we can get Robotron to work. Robotron. Here we go. The maiden voyage here. Alright, there we go. There's Robotron. Let's start it and see what happens. Sure. Left, right. So right, left, right, up, down. Firing! Woo! Ooh, I'm not very good. I need to turn the volume down. It's kind of loud. What am I trying to shoot? Alright, battery's gonna die, but you guys get the idea. Okay, picking up where we left off, I've gone ahead and installed some blocking for the control panel to rest on here, and then I've also gone ahead and put the hooks that latch it into place. Now the way these work is they reach up and then clamp down. So to install these, after I put the hooks on the back side of the control panel, what it is I put this in the lock position like that, let them dangle down from the hooks, and just mark where the screw holes were going to go. And that's how I figured out the location for this. It wasn't too bad, but that's basically how it went down. And just so you know, this is what it looks like on the back side of the control panel with the hooks. They're kind of offset a little bit like that, and I just put the hook on there and let it dangle with the control panel where I wanted it to, and I left that, like I said, in the lock position, and then just marked where the screws go. And that was pretty much how that went. I've also gone ahead and clipped the wiring harness down here off from the control panel. I've done the same thing where we stripped all the ends. The next thing to do is to go ahead and put all the pins on so that we can make ourselves a little Molex connector, and that way it'll be easy to remove the control panel as needed. And yes, I've also painted it black so that we've got something for the control panel adhesive to adhere to, so at least it's not on bare wood. So we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to quickly start putting these pins on. This is going to be the female side, and the control panel will have the male side. Now when doing any sort of new pins like this, you're going to want to strip the ends off. You don't need to strip them very far. And you're going to want to use a crimping tool. This is a crimping tool. Now the key thing with this crimping tool is it has this A and B mark here that will go and it'll clamp around the end of this pin here. And what the A does the larger portion and the B does the smaller portion. Now the larger portion will crimp onto the wire, and the smaller portion will crimp onto the actual metal strands of the wire. This is the female one. It's the cylinder hole there. And we're just going to go ahead and start putting some pins on all these. I'm not worried about the order at this time because we can figure out the order of things as they go in. Basically, this is how it's going to sit in here. Let's see if you guys can see this. Maybe. So we'll have the wire sitting in here just like this. And we'll crimp it around using our crimping tool, and we go on to the next one. That's pretty much the gist of it. When I set these up, I don't know, I actually start with the smaller one first. So that's the B side here. And the reason I do that is just so I can make sure that I've actually made contact with the wire strands here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this in for B. Okay, so it looks something like this. Now, some people might do A first because that makes sense too, but it's not. Get back up a little bit. Something like that. All right, we go ahead and we put our wire in here. In here. When here? Can we talk today? No. And try to make it so it'll focus. Maybe it'll focus today. Anyway, it's going in so that the metal part is right around where the crimping tool is. Go ahead and squeeze that down. And then we know if it's connected because that pin is actually staying on. And then we come over and do the larger tabs here with the A side. Just like this. And that's that. Now these ones I have to kind of break off a strip. So what I end up needing to do is pinching this part here. That's where they kind of crimped together, or not crimped together, where they put together the strand of all these pins. But once we do that, it should slide into the little socket on the Molex connector just fine. And we're going to go ahead and do this 11 times on this wire set and 11 more times on the other one. And that's the gist. Let me show you what I mean here. They all come out on this strip here, and then you clip throughout the middle. And when you clip throughout the middle, you end up getting this excess material that you have to kind of fold over just so that it fits into the socket of the Molex connector. But that's what I'm using, and I'm using 0.093 is just a kind of a standard size for those Molex connectors. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because it is extremely boring to watch, but that is the gist of doing all these wires here. The next thing for us to do is to take all these pins that we did for our harness for the control panel and match them up with the wires that we pinned on the control panel. Let's see, here they are. Whoop, they flew in. These are the male sides right here. Let's bag that up so we can actually see it. And down there we've got the female side. I kind of thought of it like when you're using an electrical outlet. You're plugging into the female side, so the female side will be the game. Here is our Molex connector. You can pick these up off of several of the arcade supply places out there, and probably cheaper from a electronics distributor, but you may have to do a little bit more sifting to find them. I was hoping I had a 12 pin one because I only have 11 pins here. I checked my stash and all I have is this 15 pin one, which will be fine. So we've got, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15 there. This is keyed as well. So if we pull this apart, so pull this apart like this, it is keyed. So it has these little notches down here that match up with the little notches on the other side. And we have here, this is going to be the male side, and this will be the female side. If you look closely, I think they're actually numbered. Sometimes they number these, but 9 times out of 10, it's so small I can't actually see it. So we're going to go in order. I can't remember if I usually start with ground or not, but either we'll put ground at the end or we'll put ground first. But basically what we're going to do is just go player 1, player 2, and then it's going to be up, down, left, right, and then fire up, down, left, right. And we'll keep it in that order on the opposite side. So let's see, we're going to be doing the female side first, so this is the male side, so we'll throw that off to the side for now. And if you remember, they go together like this, so everything's going to plug in from the back side here. So let's get started. So for the sake of numbering, we're going to start in the top left-hand corner, and it's going to go 1, 2, 3 down, and then it'll go back up to the top. It'll be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if you hear me referring to one of the pin numbers, that's just what I mean. So we're going to start here in the top left and work down before we go over. Start counting again at 4. So I think I'm just going to start with player 1, and we'll put the ground at the end. So we got player 1 is brown, and then I also have player 2 is brown, but I put a stripe on it so I know which one's which. So I'm going to try to, I'm looking here to see if I can find my one with the stripe. Oh, here's my one that I put a stripe onto. So that's going to be player 2, and this means this one is player 1. And ideally these just go into this little hole here, and you push them in until they click. Click. And we're off to play number 2. So player 2 is the brown with the black stripe. Somewhere, here it is. Do I need my pliers real quick to get that to go in all the way? Nope. There we go. Click, come on. Yeah, let me go get my pliers real quick. Or something to wedge it down in there. There we go, click. Alright, so player 1, player 2 is what we ended up doing. And then we're going to go up, down, left, right. And we said that up was originally red. There we go, here's red. And then we've got down is orange, so here's orange, and we're going to go over to pin 4. And we're up here back at the top. So there's 4. And left is yellow. And that means right is green. Oh, it's tight. There we go, click. And let's see. Now we're up to button 1, which is one of the starting with the fire buttons. So button 1 was blue, so we'll go blue. Actually goes fire up, down, left, right as well. So we'll go over here now, pin 7. These just slide in. see, after blue is purple. And then gray. Oops, that's not gray. That was white. Here we go. Here's gray. And then white. Sometimes in this light I can never tell. Alright. Yeah, white. This is white. Back up. So we're now on pin 10. Oh, I went all the way through. Yep, see how it went all the way through? Whoops. Alright, we'll push that back. That happens sometimes. Let's see if we can get that. Otherwise, this has been going nice and smooth. Come on. I'll play with it later. Alright, we got white, and then the last one, which is pin 11, we said would be ground. That's all of them. And there we go, we've got our connector here. And then we just go ahead and we're going to do the same thing on the control panel, because everything will match up. So that's the female side, and here we go with the male side. It'll go like this. Clip on. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So, same deal. Player 1, player 2, and off from there. But we want to make sure that we match things up first, because, let's be serious, I've totally done this backwards before. I'm not lying to you. Alright, so we're going to put this on. Make sure we've got it oriented like we did when we started. Okay, so pin 1 is here. Now when we flip it over, pin 1 is on the right. It goes 1, 2, 3 down the right side versus 1, 2, 3 on the left side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're starting with 1, 2, 3 on the right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, just remember that, because I'm going to forget. Alright. So here we go. We got to do, let's see if I can make this all reach and be in the shot. Alright, we need brown, and then brown with the stripe. So there's brown with the stripes. We need brown is first, right? Yes. Yep. Let me double check one more time. Yes. And the nice thing you can do is just kind of check to make sure everything lines up. So you got brown in the top corner, brown in the top corner. There we go. And then you can see it comes through on the bottom. Alright. And then player 2. And then we're going now with up, down, left, right. So we need to do red, orange, yellow, green. Red, 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 where are you? Red. Now orange should be on the top. This is when I like to double check. So orange on top here. Is orange still on top when we plug that in? Yes, it is. It's right up here. There's my orange, second one over. Here's my orange, second one over. Alright. Orange, red, orange, yellow. Go in. Maybe. There we go. Yellow. Green. And then we're going to keep going through. So that's the idea. We'll wrap it up here in a second. You guys can see what it looks like all done. Alright, so we've gone ahead and we've finished up the control panel side, and now we're just going to test fit everything. Sometimes it's a little tough to get together. You have to check your alignment of the pins, but after you've put it together a couple times, everything will kind of set where they need to go. There we go, we've got our connector. Next thing to go ahead and do is to put the control panel overlay on. Let's see if we can do that real quick. First I gotta take these off, because I'm not going anywhere. And these connectors, I tell you, sometimes they're a pain in the neck to get undone, but it beats disconnecting everything at the joystick. There we go. We're out. We're free. Alright, now this is the moment of truth to see whether or not I screw this up. This is kind of a one-time shot, I think. I'm not positive. So we have our Plexi control panel overlay from Phoenix Arcade. They recommend that you use a painted surface that's clean before adhering any of these adhesive back Plexi control panel overlays to, and we'll see how it goes from there. So here's the thing. So if once we put this on, right, we put this on like this, it's there. So that means if we put our joysticks in after the fact, we've got a dust washer on the top, which you could do, but in my opinion is no good. No good. So there is that issue there. So if you do that, let's see. Alright, so if we want to put the dust washer on, we have to put it on first. So let's take this off. We've got our joystick here with our dust washer and this other little plastic bearing. So that would come off, and that would sit in there. So that goes in. Let's see if we can line it up. Yeah, we'll have to kind of fish around for that. And then the dust washer sits underneath. And then we would put our control panel on, like so. And then we'd put our everything through and try to line it all up. There we go. Okay. That's how that's intended to work. We think, right? At least that's the idea. So, because we can't take this off like that. So, we're going to take our joystick out. Okay, can we pull that all the way out? Yep, we can. Good. Take our control panel off. And let's go ahead and we want to make sure, yep, I do have clearance there. The one thing that concerns me a little bit is that this is an adhesive back, and I don't know if it's going to stick to this or not, so I guess we're going to find out. I guess I could cut, I'm afraid to like score this. I could kind of score this so that I'm leaving a little bit of this stuff here, but I'm afraid that I'm going to cut through the backing and into the artwork. Yeah, I'm looking as I pull that back. Yeah, I would do that. I don't think I'm good enough to not damage it. Well, I know this is down deeper. Like if I feel across, there's a little bump here. It's not actually going to be resting. We'll see what happens. It could end up sticking to it, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I could like put like a silicone spray on it afterwards or something, just to kind of keep it from adhering. I don't know, guys. We're going to find out. Hopefully, I think this is when, if you had the backing plate, that would be the way to do it, because the backing plate would have a hole that matches the control panel. I don't even know if they did the backing plate for these. I could be wrong. I've never actually seen one. But I guess the backing plate, if you guys know the Robotron full-size upright control panel, there's a metal plate that comes across and covers this, and has a hole. And then underneath that backing plate that screws into the wood, you actually have your T-nuts. So you can't even see your T-nuts unless you've fully removed your control panel overlay. So that's that. I guess the other option is that I put this on and don't adhere it, but it would be kind of floppy on the edges, right? No, I guess not. I could just hold it down with the button. Or, yeah, see, like I can move this right now. That's not even touching the plexi. Let's just do it. Okay, so we're going to make sure we're all set up here. This is nerve-wracking, I tell you. Alright, so we've got our dust washer for that joystick. And we've got that other plastic bushing. So that means on this side we need to have our dust washer and that other plastic bushing. So we're going to pull those off. Put that down. We'll make sure that everything slides through. Is there only one side of this? Yep. It's oily. It's oily. Alright, so we've got that. And then we need our dust washer. And now we just do it, right? Right? So we're going to practice this one time. Make sure we're free of dust. Alright, so we're going to go... I can't use those... Okay, so I was going to use those holes to line things up, but let's put those there. I was going to go like this, but then my fingers hit it, so I'm going to go and use the player 1 and player 2. I think. Or I'll stand up on top and just line it up best I can. I should probably line up those holes too. See, that's the problem. I want everything lined up perfectly just so I can eyeball it. Is that good enough? I think so. So I'll come down, kind of feel for the edges, so I'm feeling my left and right. Now I need to make sure that I'm good at the top too. And hopefully I can just then put pressure on it. That's the goal. Watch it not stick at all. Alright. Let's do it. You either watch me screw up or not. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull the backing off. There it goes. Alright, there's our adhesive back control panel. We've got our dust washers in there. Alright, here we go. Line this up. It smells like the old sign shop I used to work in. I don't know. Not doing a very good job here. So normally when I do the like the overlays that are not one piece of plexi like this, I use the buttons to kind of line everything up. You can see this isn't straight. Okay. That's pretty good on the top. Nope, it was good on the top and it moved. I think that's good. Push it down. That's it. We're pushing it down. It's getting to be more and more real every day. Okay, yep, I'm just kind of checking the sides to make sure it feels good and even all the way around. Okay. See if I can... Yeah, it's not coming up easily. Alright, we're going to let this sit. We're going to put the Actually, we're going to put the buttons in. We'll put the joysticks back in. And then, I don't know. Maybe we'll clamp it or something. I don't think we need to. Did we do it? Alright, buttons in next. I was going to put a button in next, then I realized when I pick it up and move it, the joystick dust washers slide all over the place. So let's put this in. And the other one in here. Hopefully. There we go. These things aren't moving around as much. Alright. There's our one button, our two joysticks. I just gotta screw everything in, put the clips on, so I'm gonna flip this over. Watch everything kind of fall off. Okay, so in typical That Tim Guy fashion, the camera ran out of memory. I was just looking over here, I've got a wire. Are you kidding me? What came off? Ugh. Look at this. I need another leaf switch. Alright, that's an easy fix. Alright, so my leaf switch here for player 2 snapped off. Bummer. How'd that happen? It literally just put this thing down. Anyway, man, that's silly. I've got another leaf switch somewhere, though. That's not a big deal. I was just looking at it. Alright, I've got another leaf switch. This tab broke off right here. It's supposed to be like this. Broke off. Sometimes you just can't win. Anyway, it looks great. Here you go. The dust covers aren't sticking, which is perfect. And the joysticks are in. And the buttons are in. Player 2 obviously doesn't work because I broke it. We'll fix that later. But I'm going to go put it on the game. We're going to see what it looks like. Alright, the control panel's on. All I have to do now is I've got my wires here, down the bottom here, that I'm going to connect. Somehow, maybe. Come on. Oh, you know, are you kidding me? Oh, one of those wires came out. Alright, one of these pins doesn't want to sit. I can't see it, but yeah, one of these pins here is not sitting, so we're going to try that again. There we go. I got our one wire here that came undone. Let's go plug it in. Oh wait, you know what I want to do? I'll latch this. Alright. Okay, let's turn it on. It's turning on. ROM check. Player 2 we know doesn't work, which means I'm not going to be able to get back to the menu. But this is good enough for now. Let's turn my volume down. It's kind of noisy. I mean, this menu seems quiet, but Robotron was kind of noisy. Alright. Yep. There's Robotron. Let's see. Just want to back up so we can see the control panel a little bit. There we go. There we go. Oh, really? Alright, well, things work, which is good. Not very good at this game, but I'm getting there. Alright, where am I? Wait, come back here, man. Well, I'm not very good yet. Save that person. Oh, I really shouldn't run into things. Game over. Alright, I've got to practice this game. But, there we go. We're going to end here. and lo and behold, we have a control panel.